The good news this week, the nude photographs of our Olympic athletes in black and white magazine. Settle down. They're such supreme physical specimens for the opening ceremonies. Maybe we should go with the nude look ceremony. I mean, let's face it, it can't be as embarrassing as some of the stuff we've worn in the past. I just hope they don't start competing in the nude. I mean, in the long jump, sand would get into everything. In the discus, different parts of the thrower wouldn't stop when he did. Anyway, Olympic officials are very, very happy with the photographs and say the next shoot will be even bigger, even better. A nude Arthur Tunstall doing star jumps. Speaking of the Olympics, Australia has cleaned up at the International Stamp Collecting Games in Beijing, although some of the Chinese collectors had suspiciously large, muscular tongues. And Foxtel has brought the rights to all the exciting stamp collecting action. Exciting compared to most of what's on pay TV, that is. In financial news, banks are going to open outlets in supermarkets, which will offer on-the-spot home loans. But getting the loan isn't the problem. It's swiping the house across the barcode reader at the checkout. Still on finance, and it seems a goods and services tax is back on the government's agenda. A GST will reduce a lot of confusion and uncertainty. Well, it certainly helps people make up their minds at election time. The government says minorities like low-income earners won't be disadvantaged by GST. But then, after their industrial relations legislation kicks in, low-income earners won't be a minority anymore. So there's really no problem. The main reason they believe Australia should have a GST is because it works in New Zealand. Then again, wearing Ugg boots to a job interview works in New Zealand. In Queensland, independent MP Pauline Hanson says that Aboriginal Australians should feel guilty about their cannibal ancestors. Aboriginal elders admitted that some tribes, yes, did once eat people, but the arrival of whites like Hanson put them right off the practice. Obviously, Ms. Hanson has the right to express her views. I just think making them during National Reconciliation Week is bad timing. Now, if she'd made that remark about 30 years ago, it would have been fine. The Northern Territory government has just released a brochure and set up a hotline for people interested in information on euthanasia. The brochure contains various surefire ways to die. These include star in a new Aussie sitcom, leave a soap opera to pursue serious acting jobs overseas, and park in Kerry Packer's parking spot. The government even has a new slogan to encourage tourism. Death. You'll never, never know if you never, never go. Unfortunately, they still haven't convinced Daryl Summers to star in the ad on euthanasia. In a Melbourne court, Shane Paxton has been fined $300 and placed on a 12-month good behaviour bond for stealing hair care products. Shane allegedly said he was sorry about stealing the shampoo, the conditioner and the mousse. Next time he'll nick a 3-in-1 so they won't notice the huge bulge down the front of his trousers. The theft actually took place in August last year. Shane's conviction didn't happen overnight, but it did happen. And that's good news. Thank you. And welcome to Good News Week. The show dares to ask the question, if male sprinters were allowed to run naked, would they break the tape 100th of a second sooner? Our first team tonight, those sensitive new age guys with hearts of pure animal lust. Mikey Robbins, Noel Ferrier and Anthony Ackroyd. And in the blue corner, 3 shy little mice with ice picks under their pillows. Lynda Gibson, Kate Fischer, and one of Australia's most respected political journalists, Goward. What's the Story is the name of the game. Looking at the big news of the week. Mikey, Noel and Anthony. What's going on here? Oh, a bit of flags.
Yeah, that'd be a basic... oh,
dear. Oh, university.
Yes.
University.
I remember well. That's...
A slash.
They really should warn kiddies. Amanda Vanstone about to come on television. Switch off now.
Yeah, but Mikey, I hear she gives good hex.
Yeah, but the sad thing is you then have to go back and give it to her for the next 25 years. A little bit at a time.
Only if you earn above average income.
There's some scum-sucking parasitic communists in this country who think that education should not only be the privilege of the rich and rich.
Yes. Are you going in okay with this?
No, that's it.
Yeah,
I think Vanstone is absolutely right. I've made my point, I think.
Yeah.
Too many clever people in this country.
Well, don't
Get rid of them! Get rid of them!
There are women getting degrees. It's disgusting.
Well, Jeff, and Amanda said
It doesn't mean they get the jobs.
it's about Amanda Vanstone basically saying, look, you know, we're taking everything away, and if you don't do it, you're getting a spanking.
You are right, thank God.
Yeah.
And you earn 2 points. The government wants to raise tertiary education fees and slash funding to universities in a move described as a prefrontal lobotomy on the brain of the clever country. Certain courses are being dropped from uni curriculums. They include how to criticise a government, how to prevent the sale of national assets, and how to recognise a dictator by height alone. Lynda, Kate and Prue, your story looks like this.
Yes.
Oh, yes, I know him. Yes, that's the Minister for Communications. That's Senator Austin.
To Western Suburbs, is
That's the boss.
That's the Prime
That's
Minister
Jeff
talking
Kennett.
to the sleazeball. Oh, yes, and that's Richard Alston ringing Malcolm Turnbull,
But that was
asking to organise an offshore loan, you know, for a Russian gold mine, then he can sell Telstra that.
Like Telstra, Parliament, no, just sell it, John, whatever you want.
You are right.
We need the money.
2 points. John Howard admits the Liberals looked at selling part of Telstra without Senate approval by transferring its assets to a series of shelf companies. All perfectly legal, wheezed their special business consultant from his villa in Mallorca. 3 clues for each team now to a strange but true story. Mikey, Noel and Anthony, you get a set of teeth, a get-well card,
Yep.
and a snake.
Snake!
Don't do anything with the snake.
And for Lynda, Kate and Prue, we have the Ukraine,
Doesn't look anything like the map of Tassie.
She's observational.
a tourist map,
Gee, I'm glad you didn't get these.
and a sorry, no vacancy sign. First game, round 2, missing persons. Noel, who is enjoying Richard Gere's company here?
Let me look.
Well, it's too big for a hamster. You know, it's not actually the hamster that hurts, it's the little wheel that has to go up.
He has become a Buddhist.
Yes.
I would say The offhand Dalai hamster. At a wild
It's the llama?
Yeah, it's a llama.
Llama, whoa.
Llama, the Dalai
That'd be a
Lama.
big...
I'm going to stop it right there. You are right, it is the Dalai Lama. For 2 points. Alexander Downer has found a way to keep both the Tibetans and the Chinese happy when the Dalai Lama visits Australia this year. They'll give him a fantastic official reception, then beat him up afterwards. Kate, your missing person is posing with some soldiers. Who is it?
Oh, must be that scoundrel bounder and cad.
Who? Which one? Yeah. Jeff Kennett. Peter Reid. Peter Costello.
No, the guy that keeps sending you all the jewels and the makeup and the frills. His wife would know who it was, do you reckon?
Dolph Lundgren.
What?
What? Who?
He's the star of Flipper.
It's a major. It's a major. The one that was sucking Princess Diana's toes.
It wasn't Di's toes.
Oh,
Is there an answer?
James Stewart.
You are right, it is James Stewart.
Why doesn't anyone ask me a fashion question? Because I'd know that.
But you got that one right.
Oh.
Seen here with officers from the 4th Mounted Nancy Boy Regiment. In his recent Kiss and Tell interview, Hewitt said if he'd been killed in the Gulf War, it would have saved a lot of problems. On the other hand, death would have made him more like Prince Charles in bed. Don't ask me how I know. Bites is the second one-on-one game. Anthony, a bite for you from the UN Secretary-General Boutros Ghali.
This resolution is based on one of the most important objectives of the United Nations.
Boutros is talking about Boutros things. He's got a whole range of Boutros stuff that, ring this number. No, isn't he talking about allowing medicines to be medicated to Iran?
I'm going to give you 1 point for that. Boutros Ghali, the UN leader so good they named him twice. I want to be a part of it. Boutros. The UN has approved a $2.5 billion deal that allows Iraq to sell its oil in exchange for food and medicine. The Iraqis will also pour some of the money into their food distribution network, in particular Pizza Scud, inaccurate delivery anywhere in the Middle East. Prue, what is the lovely Wilson Tucky talking about here?
There's more courage in 3 state premiers who are prepared to take this final risk than there is apparently in our leadership. And I've had enough of that.
He's talking about his ambitions for the Prime Ministership quite clearly. And he thinks that will be on native title, and he expects to get the Aboriginal vote.
It is about native title. Ironbar is grumpy because John Howard is letting the High Court rule on native title claims rather than introducing legislation. According to Tucky, courage means protecting the interests of people who vote for you. I guess that makes politicians the most consistently courageous people in the country. To finish this round, a game we call My Left Footage. Team captains will show you 3 pieces of footage. 2 relate to a recent news story. 1 is a red herring. Spot the fish. Mr. Robbins, for you.
That's a fish. And that's a Fischer. That's Tim Fischer, and that's a lobby. That's a lobby in a tank. Hello, lobby. And it's a bloke walking into a room and saying, "You seen Tim Fischer?" It actually was recently Tim Fischer went to Japan, and wasn't it nice to have him out of the country? And you feel safer when Mr. Heartbeat's not here. According to he's 1 heartbeat away. Don't worry about it. Okay, so Tim was over there to talk about trade talks with Japan. The lobsters, the odd one out because they weren't talking about lobster deals. In fact, the dinner he went to, Tim was so polite, because you have to be polite when you're dealing with important Japanese people. He ate oysters, and apparently he's allergic to oysters.
You are right, 100%. So, another point for you. The lobsters are indeed the red herring. On a recent trip to the Tokyo fish markets, where he gave a very exciting press conference, you see the man nodding off there, Tim had to eat an oyster, which he is, of course, allergic to. He later experienced what he called a period of difficulty. Oh. Tim Fischer, danger is his business. From eating oysters to fighting rednecks. If there's a chance it'll kill him, he'll do it. Next week, Tim will get caught in a blizzard on Mount Everest, ride a Tanzanian ferry, and drink a carton of milk that's way past its use-by date. Lynda.
Yes, Paul?
What doesn't belong here?
I don't know.
Have a go.
Oh, all right.
After the footage.
Closed and quality of education. Now strikers. People upset Australians. Oh, it's Mr. Electric. Happy ladies in a sweatshop, which is a job I'd love to have. Yeah. But I think the whole education thing here, and that man in the hat is very sensible, because it's obviously very hot in Nowra. This lady is making Peter Reith's suit. It's about... She is...
It's about an hour long.
He is...
Do we have an answer?
I'll get to the point, Lynda. She is the odd one out, because the industrial relations... Prue, I don't mind at any time. Look, she's the odd one out. They're both outside and she's inside. No, she's the odd one out. Strikes are outlawed. We can't strike in this country anymore. Do you understand what is happening?
Actually, what Reith is reading out is... I always thought the letters were made up.
She's the only one that's working. I mean, it's obvious.
It's a good response. I heard the answer in there somewhere about 5 minutes ago. It was, in fact, the striking workers, because striking workers wouldn't be there under Peter Reith's reforms. There's industrial action.
So how many points do we get for that?
We get a bonus because we got it twice right.
I'm not going to be persuaded. 1 point. Oh. Peter Reith says there is a place for unions in the new workplace agreements. The unions countered with the suggestion of a place for the new agreements in Peter Reith. Checking the scores, and Mikey, Noel and Anthony are enterprise bargaining on 5 points. While Lynda, Kate and Prue take a sickie on 5 points. A bonus round of face value now. Guess the identity of the disguised celebrity straight away and score 4 points. If not, we'll remove one piece of the disguise this time with 3 points up for grabs. Kate, who does this face belong to?
Peter Reid.
Oh, that's
Peter Reid's glasses.
Dolph Lundgren.
Anyone on that team?
Bruce Willis.
You're going to have to take a piece of...
Okay, let's throw it over to this team.
Is it, I mean, if
Oh, it's Andy Thomas!
No, it's Amanda Vanstone, but she dresses like that anyway.
Anybody?
Bill Hayden on the farm.
Okay, let's take one piece of the disguise away, please.
Yes, indeed. And it's... It is Amanda Vanstone.
Back to Lynda.
Let's have a look at the lips.
Okay, let's
John
throw it
Howard.
back.
It's John Howard.
No, it's not John Howard. Let's throw it back. Come on. Mike.
It's Laurie Daly.
Costello.
Okay, let's take away another piece of the disguise.
Laurie Daly. It's Jeff Fennick.
Jeff Fennick. Mikey has it. Ding. Yes, it's Jeff Fennick. The former champ has hung up his gloves for good after being hammered by South African Philip Holliday. At the press conference after the fight, Fennick denied boxing had damaged his brain, saying, "Boxing hasn't damaged my brain." For this fight, Jeff spent months trying to come up with a slogan like Muhammad Ali's "float like a butterfly, sting like a bee." His trainer got a bit worried when he settled on "flirt like a buffalo, sing like a virgin." Now the God-fearing odd one out, Mikey, Noel and Anthony.
Yeah.
Yes. Who's the diamond in the rough here?
No, the Pope's saying, where'd you get that hat from? I want one of those hats. Give me the baby hat.
We have the Pope, Fred Nile, James Hewitt,
yes.
Yeah.
and the Encyclopedia Britannica.
One of them's a book.
Yes. Can you guess which one?
I think both the Pope and Fred Nile have probably been in Encyclopedia Britannica, but not him.
But he's from boarding school, so Encyclopedia Britannica's probably been in... No. Let's leave that.
James Hewitt, I say.
Could it possibly be that the Encyclopedia Britannica has less references to sex than the three other men?
It's very good, but it's not the right answer. The right answer is James Hewitt.
Oh, we were Hewitt all the way, 100%.
We certainly were Hewitt.
Yeah.
The whole thing is a disgrace.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, why then?
It is James Hewitt because the others all make sex sound interesting. Lynda, Kate and Prue, spot the bull in the china shop here.
All right.
Amanda Vanstone again.
It's the terrorist Carlos the Jackal,
All right, yeah.
Westpac Bank, Danny Minogue,
Oh, dear.
and Bob Hawke.
It's obviously Carlos the Jackal, because the others are still getting away with it.
Is it because the Westpac Bank hasn't had plastic surgery?
Westpac Bank's just had an uplift recently, and Danny Minogue's had an uplift, and Bob Hawke's had an uplift.
Well, hang on. They're all terrorists except Danny, and even, I think Sonia McMahon said even she was a terrorist.
So what is the final answer?
It's any of those, but it's
The answer is Danny Minogue.
Oh.
So Carlos the Jackal was good, and I'm going to give you 1 point for that answer.
Well, do we get 1 point for the book?
But why Danny? I mean, you know, she's a terrorist.
Because there are some things the others just won't do for money. Psychologists blame Carlos the Jackal's bloodthirsty disposition on his parents. If they'd called him Carlos the Moth, he might just have hung around a few light bulbs. With just one round to go, Mikey, Noel and Anthony are flying into windows on a very fine 9 points. While Lynda, Kate and Prue lay eggs in the wardrobe on 7 points. A quick reminder, strange but true is worth anything up to 5 points, so it's still anybody's game. Mikey, Noel, Anthony, your clues were a set of teeth,
Yes.
a get well card, and a snake. What's the quick thinking story?
The big thinking story.
Okay, Noel, you...
There's this guy walking on a country path.
Walking.
And he comes across the snake.
Yes.
Snake looks... Thank you.
Yes.
The snake looks up at him, rears his head and goes like this to him. He's a camp snake. Morning.
How can you tell?
And the guy just stood there, you see, and the snake says to him, listen, I'm hissing at you through my teeth. And the guy said, false. He said, I know, but I'm still hissing through them. Good stuff.
Look, we're dropping you off at the home and we're never taking you out again.
All right.
Now, it was a story about an elderly couple, I think, in the States. One of them got bitten on the butox. I think the gent got bitten on the butox. And his wife was so keen to save his life that she sunk her teeth in to bite the poison out. Unfortunately, she left the teeth in the... and that's how they found them in the hospital.
No.
Worked for me.
What about the work get well?
That, Your Honour, is the case of the defence.
I like the buttock thing, sure.
Yeah.
Merely because it contains the word buttock. But apart from that, I reckon some bloke with buttocks or without them, I don't know. I don't have all the details. Do I have all the answers? No, I just have a story which I'm making up.
Could it be a short story?
Not very likely.
Please, could it be a short story?
Okay. This bloke, with or without buttocks, it's irrelevant. Just drop the buttock thing, okay. He's bitten by a snake, which has buttocks, but you can't tell. How can you tell on a snake? Snake bites the guy, and the guy is so angry that he thinks, oh, I might be poisoned. So he bites the snake, like that, right in the buttocks, which are there on snakes. Weird. So, he bites the snake and thinks, oh, I might be poisoned. So then he thinks, oh dear, what if I'm poisoned? And then he wraps the snake around his arm as a tourniquet and is taken to the hospital and survives. And the nurse says, do you or do you not have buttocks? Let's clear this up once and for all.
You are right, Anthony is right. You're right. I am going to give you 5 points for that.
Thank you.
But I am going to take off 4 points because you constantly use the word buttocks. Valentin Grimaldo was the man bitten by a poisonous coral snake in Houston. But he was fast on his feet. He grabbed the reptile, bit off its head and used the skin as a tourniquet. Apparently he was stung by a bee the day before, bit off its bum and used its antennae to radio for help. Lynda, Kate and Prue, you had the Ukraine.
We had the most boring
tourist map
that's ever been given to anyone.
And sorry, no vacancy sign. What's the story?
Do you want to borrow
no
the
criticism.
snake?
Yeah, I'd love to have the snake.
Just throw it in.
Well, in Russian, this really says, sorry, no buttocks. Exist in the Ukraine. So you need a map.
I've got a python.
Well, I've got a map of Tassie. With a map of Tassie, I can have as many pythons as I like.
I think you may already have done that, Kate, but... In fact, is there anyone here from the Guinness Book of Records? I bet you're dying for a buttock now, Paul.
Right.
You didn't know what you had going on with those buttock comments.
Kiev is home of Chicken Kiev. This is home of the famous Dnipropetrovsk sausage, Kivrov rog soup, and of course the famous kursan, which is a style of bread in Ukraine.
And
Boris was on his...
Gorbachev will go anywhere for a free feed.
So he was going to Planet Hollywood. Remember
So
that
they
bit?
all went to Planet Hollywood.
The Ukraine Planet
They
Hollywood
couldn't get in because I was in the spa.
with Dolph Lundgren.
Is that the answer?
That's
That's the answer.
Boris Yeltsin was drunk on the way to the Ukraine.
He thought he was
Looking
going
at
to get
the
free
new Prime
vodka.
Minister.
And it was no vacancies, get it?
You are so wrong.
He had to turn around and go, but I haven't got a clue.
And don't forget, viewers, my new show, Buttocks are Fun.
I'll tell you the story. When two Turkish businessmen who couldn't speak Ukrainian went out on sightseeing, they wrote down the name of the hotel and the subway station in case they got lost. Unfortunately, what they'd written was sorry, no vacancy, and entrance. They were detained by police for causing a disturbance and accosting young women with signs. Later, they went to the airport and tried to catch a plane to baggage collection. The Ukraine hasn't seen a mix-up like this since the German only thought the sign to Stalingrad read to Demidenko's topless beer keller.
Yeah, so how many points do we get for not saying buttocks?
Well, I'm going to give you 4 for not saying buttocks. And in a tremendous show of reverse sexism from me, that carries you to a beautiful and powerful 12 points.
Outrageous.
Leaving Mikey Robbins, Noel Ferrier and Anthony Ackroyd lost in the translation on a miserable 10 points. So our winners tonight, Lynda Gibson, Kate Fischer and Prue Goward. How did you think your mum went?
I think Mum did beautifully.
Very well indeed.
Thank you, Katie.
Oh, I thought Dad was great as well.
Well, moving right along, we'd like to say thank you to both teams and leave you with the good news that the government anticipated problems with selling Telstra and have organised alternative funding for their environment package. They're increasing the quota on wood chip exports. Good night.
Tomorrow, Recovery meets the Smashing Pumpkins. Bill Paxton talks about his new film, Twister, and the real story behind the Planet Hollywood schmaltz. Don't miss Recovery, live tomorrow morning from 9 o'clock. Coming up after a news update, selected exits.